This one starts off kind of different, but after crushing a boatload of street tacos and spiked drinks, I got this crazy idea. I booted up Assassin's Creed with the brilliant plan of playing them all again, back to back with reviews and rankings to follow. Probably a bad idea to attempt the Aegean task while in this kind of state, but whatever. Assassin's Creed launched in 2007, widely considered the golden age of gaming, and was immediately thrust into a crowded lineup of perennial all-stars. I'm a bit ashamed to admit it, but I didn't own this game, at least not at first, and I ended up playing it cover to cover on a friend's PC. We're not here to judge, just enjoy. Ubisoft's OG AC title received favorable reviews from critics, except for this one. And it led to a follow-up game, and another, eventually leading to a huge body of work, including 12 main games, spin-offs like Liberation, Freedom Cry, The Chronicles, a movie, and much, much more. But enough with the history lessons. This is a review in 2022. How does this 15-year-old Assassin's Creed game stack up? I'd say it hits just as hard today as our first ever leap of faith. Hitting play on AC1 takes me back, and my impressions about this game have not changed in the least. Rarely would my younger Chad agree with my older Brad, but on AC1, we both do. The atmosphere in this game is creepy and ominous. We are a party to events we shouldn't be witness to, but we don't dare blink. The writing is deep, edgy, and unsettling, beginning with Desmond. This unpretentious bartender is kidnapped and crammed into a spooky machine while being forced to revisit his ancestral memories. Each morning, his alarm clock is a mad scientist standing over him, silently watching.
Gotta say, that's a little creepy, Doc.
Spends days on end in this nightmare, and at night, he is subjected to crazy visions. This is the Matrix, but better. The Animus shows us history, but with a twist, and the entire game feels like one bad dream, something I don't feel any of the other titles in this series have ever quite matched. Now, what propels this edgy narrative forwards is the fact that Desmond is equally creeped out. The Templars, pieces of Eden, those that came before?
I don't know what you're talking about.
These are all completely foreign to him, and you wonder what Desmond was actually doing while at assassin school. It is much the same for Altair, as he has let his bravado interfere with his strict adherence to the creed. Killing innocents and exposing the Brotherhood are definitely going to land you on the get slapped by the mentor list. And after nearly being killed for his arrogance, Altair is sent out to hack his way through the Holy Land while attempting to regain his rank and honor. This is a serious game. Think Jacob and Evie and then head in the opposite direction. Altair is surrounded by misdirection and conspiracy, leaving him often confused and uneasy. Adding to this altered state is the fact that no one in the 12th century seems capable of speaking in complete sentences. Riddles, nuance, and deception are the norm, and Altair gets it from not only his master, but also his Templar targets.
You doubt. You cannot stop us. We will have our new world.
Desmond and Altair push through together, constantly building towards an uncertain end as they feed off of each other. I want to continue Desmond's story arc to get back into the Animus and play as Altair. I play as Altair to gain more knowledge to get back to the real world with Desmond. Seeing both of them progress and grow is motivating and is aided by some terrific writing. There's no fluff in this narrative. Every utterance carries weight and meaning, and if you've got the patience, it is so satisfying to watch unfold.
But now you've taken my life, and in the process, ended your own.
Although the delivery, especially the cutscenes, have aged a bit and technically the whole thing's a bit rickety, these strong set-piece moments are delivered in-engine, giving you the ability to adjust your camera angles and points of view. When you see the glitch effects start flashing across your screen, you know the shit is about to go down. Being sent back to the cities a second time for more repeated tasks did get repetitive. But the kill scene monologues made that effort worthwhile. And the game attempts to change that loop by adding in more guards, more combat abilities, and in general more mayhem to broaden and intensify the experience. What's this? Breaking news. Screen Rant further confirms why they are not to be trusted, posting this article ranking Altair among their list of the most worthless assassins in Assassin's Creed history. Not only is this article completely wrong, but I would place Altair in my top 3 most impressive assassins of all time. It really depends on the day, but he is in rarefied air, along with Ezio and Bayek. To begin to appreciate Altair's talents, let's explore combat in AC1. And to this day, this has remained some of the best and most pure combat in the entire franchise, and I know that statement may rattle some of you. Take a break if you need to. Listen, I get it. There's no magical strikes, you aren't waiting around for a stamina bar to fill up, and you aren't the James Bond of the 12th century with super high-tech gadgets to overpower your opponents. But there is something to be said for the simplicity and movements of AC1's combat structure that is not only balanced, but pure. The speed of the animations just looks so natural, and the chance mechanics add in that little extra bit of spice.
Tight, yeah!
AC1's combat is unpredictable and presents a nice level of difficulty. If you think you're just going to stand around holding block and waiting to counter-kill opponents, then you are sadly mistaken. Now, as you progress through the storyline, you regain more and more of your equipment and abilities, but the game counters back with higher enemy concentrations and stronger, more competent targets. And herein lies the beauty of AC1's simplistic combat system. You see, the game doesn't hold your hand, and it doesn't force you to play in a distinct style it prefers. It gives you the instruments and the capabilities and allows you to choose your own path.
Chef's kiss?
Absolutely.
For an AC purist, it's music to my eyes and ears. Verticality, stealth, parkour, and social blending are all present in this deadly sandbox of hide-and-go-seek, but the hidden beauty in this style of combat can only be found by those that experiment with their techniques. Have you earned the trust of the civilians who will repay you by distracting incoming reinforcements? Have you tried range combat versus open warfare in the streets? Are you taking full advantage of your stealth and blending capabilities to avoid combat altogether? Defensive counter-killing is only scratching the surface of Altair's full killing potential, and there are multiple layers that can be learned and perfected. AC1 combat gives you what you put into it. If you want more, it's there, but requires more action to solicit a reaction. Locales and the game's assigned tasks have long been held under a microscope and scrutinized. The size of each city, their design, and all of that I get. Acre, Damas, and Jerusalem are all very similar in design with small architectural differences, and about 2/3 of the way through my playthrough, I began to forget which city I was in.
Where am I?
Unfortunately, Ubisoft made the odd decision to apply color filters to each cityscape to help differentiate them, and Acre in particular and its ultra-white haze felt like I was constantly looking directly into the sun.
It's burning my eyes!
The scalable viewpoint structures are stunning, and some even require experimentation and different routes to actually reach the top. Even though I know it's a video game, these types of heights are dizzying. Even now, I find that incredible. If you take the time to just roam the city streets, the depth of the design really starts to shine through. The crowds are dense, they all go about their daily tasks. Groups gather to gossip, shop vendors shout to attract businesses to their stalls. Civilians all have facial expressions, they actually react to events going on around them. There's women and men carrying goods that will drop and break if you bump into them, eliciting aggravated responses from them and drawing attention to you by passing guards. There's drunks staggering around and raving lunatics that will push you off your path if you wander too close. There's even beggars that, if ignored, will throw stones at you if you attempt to brush them off and get away. If only we were given the option to lock on and assassinate these My completionist OCD was on full display during my time with the game, and I actually ground out each and every event in every location. Except for those damn flags, there was no way I was going to roam around exploring every inch of the game. Yeah, that just wasn't going to happen.
No, God!
I'm sorry, Petruccio, but you're just going to have to live your life without so many damn feathers. We owe all of our collectibles, misery, and future Assassin's Creed games to AC1, and it became a mainstay of the franchise. We all know how the story ends. That dramatic showdown between Altair and Al-Molim, the Apple of Eden, that projection of the vault locations. And if it all just ended right then and there were no follow-up games, AC1 would still be a solid gaming experience. It is this constant merging of the real world with the Animus, with Desmond and Altair, that makes the story so compelling. If you were able to do so, accessing the meeting room laptop and reading through the research and reach of Abstergo was really the icing on the cake. It wasn't presented in a flashy cutscene motif, but that doesn't diminish the effect and weight of the information contained in that email. If you haven't ever been able to make it into that meeting room and see that laptop, you need to do so. Speaking towards current practices now versus back in 2007, but it was refreshing to see no microtransactions, no pre-order beta testing, no level gating or XP boosters. AC1 was delivered in its final and finished form without all that bullshit, and it shows you what a company could achieve when it concentrated on the legitimacy of its creations. Getting to go back and play Assassin's Creed in 2022 showed me that it isn't some forgotten chapter in the family tree that should just be sealed away and forgotten. It did so many things right and serves as a reminder of what a studio can do when it isn't tied to focus groups and marketing trends. It was unapologetically original and delivered on that edgy, ominous mix of ancient history meets world domination. Of course, future AC releases went in different directions, injecting their own variations into the formula. More action, longer narratives, RPG elements, but it was here that we saw the purest, most authentic form of the Creed, and yeah, I still love it. And that's going to wrap up my review of Assassin's Creed in 2022. These reviews and edits take a really long time to create, and I appreciate you watching it all the way through. I'm currently deciding which AC game I should review next, and maybe you can leave me a comment as to which game you recommend. All my social links are listed in the video description below, and thank you so much for the support. Until my next Assassin's Creed review, this is LtBuzzLitebeer, signing off.